We will annihilate everything. Champions of this realm can do nothing to stop us.
You are very menacing. I just want you to know that.
A lot has changed in the last few years.
The wizard gave me superpowers. And then everybody got superpowers. The daughters of Atlas are coming to hunt us.
Children stole the power of the gods. You ripped it from our father's core.
Okay, I feel like maybe I should be writing all this down.
Give us the powers, child.
Your world will not survive this.
You want these powers? Come get them!
Hey, Khaleesi! We have one job to do. Save the world. Billy!
I don't know how we fight powers like this.
I can't do this. Take my powers back.
You gave them to me so you could take them back, right?
I spent millennia searching for a worthy champion. You know exactly what must be done.
Billy, what are you doing? I have to do this.
We end this now.
Yeah, we do.
References. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We'll do an IMAX ticket giveaway for the movie. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just post your favorite moment from the trailer on the video. The big thing in this new trailer is we learn a little bit more about the actual story. So the whole idea is that the three daughters of the Titan Atlas, the Greek Titan, because we're talking about Greek mythology, the same gods, the same pantheon that Wonder Woman came from. Zeus is one of the people that grant Shazam their powers. Zeus is canonically the father of Wonder Woman. They're trying to take back one of the sources of the Shazam family's powers. So the whole idea is that the Shazam name is an acronym for where they get all their powers from, all the different gods. Some of them Greek titans, not gods, slightly different. Same basic mythology though. So the Shazam acronym stands for the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas. So that's the power that the sisters are trying to take back, the stamina. The power of Zeus, that's where their lightning bolts come from. The courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. Like the speed of Mercury, for instance, makes them almost as fast as the Flash. About as fast as Superman is. Each of the different letters in the acronym powers one of their major abilities. They can also cast spells like a normal magician or a normal sorcerer would be able to, but Billy hasn't figured that out yet because he's a little kid. That's part of the joke of the character, is like he's way more powerful than he realizes, he just hasn't figured it out yet. That's one of the reasons why the wizard Shazam gets so pissed off at him, who they're also bringing back in this movie, and he looks like a much younger version of himself. So it'll be interesting to see which version they say this is, if it's like some other version that they pulled from a different part of the timeline, like somehow they captured a version of him a long time ago in the past, or if this is a version from the afterlife, like this is the version that died in the first movie, and they just found a way to capture his soul, and that's how he's come back. Because this place, their home base, seems like a version of Mount Olympus or near Mount Olympus, because that's where all the Greek titans, the Greek gods, would live. They changed a little bit of Greek mythology just to fit this to the movie. Like the Greek Titan Atlas did have daughters, but they were the nymphs. But in the movie, they're saying it was these three daughters with slightly different names. Helen Mirren is playing Hespera, Lucy Liu is playing someone called Calypso, and Rachel Zeigler is playing Anthea. So as you can see, like they're all just three different daughters that were born during different time periods. Helen Mirren is the oldest sister, Lucy Liu is the middle sister, she's middle-aged, and Rachel Zeigler is meant to be the youngest sister. But I think part of the joke of that is because of the way they exist, like their biology, some of them just seem a little bit older than the others. Like Rachel Zeigler seems like a beautiful young woman, but she's actually really, really old, like Wonder Woman. Just starting at the beginning of the trailer footage, Lucy Liu's Calypso comes to the Philadelphia Stadium, because remember, this is taking place in the Philadelphia area. She's already got the staff of the wizard Shazam. Remember, they find it at the museum and they reform it, and they use that to channel their father's power. When they have all these moments in the trailer where Billy talks about giving up his powers to the sisters so that they'll leave Philadelphia alone, they'll stop trying to destroy the planet, and you see all the power coursing through him and through the staff, it's not clear if they're saying that he's trying to give up all of his power or just the part of the power that comes from the Greek Titan Atlas. or if they're going to completely change all this and say that every single bit of their power came from the Greek Titan Atlas instead of a bunch of different gods. The golden apple that she jams into the ground to start changing things is also from Greek mythology, but they've changed the mythology just a little bit. You also see Helen Mirren's character holding one of them too. Golden apples appear in a bunch of different cultures, mythologies, but because we're talking about the Greek mythology of the DC universe with Shazam and Wonder Woman, these golden apples in particular were from the Garden of the Hesperides, who were the mythological daughters of the Greek Titan Atlas, but in the movie they're saying these 3 daughters were those daughters. The actual powers of the apples were said to grant immortality. That was their main ability, but it sounds like they can be used for other things too. Most people think of the golden apples because they were a big part of Hercules' famous 12 labors that he was given to complete. Like as part of one of them, he had to steal the golden apples from the secret garden where they rested, which would have been tended by these 3 sisters, like their lair. He would have had to steal the golden apples from their lair, basically. I don't think we've actually seen Hercules inside the DC universe, but they did tease him in the Marvel movies in Thor: Love and Thunder in that post-credit scene. The reason why both Marvel and DC can do versions of the Greek pantheon like Hercules and Zeus is because there's no copyright on those characters. They have a bunch of scenes back at their lair at this place where it seems like they're keeping the wizard Shazam captive, and it seems like they capture Freddie Freeman and take him back there too. It looks like they use the power of the golden apples, and there's a power that they have access to already to change Philadelphia into something more akin to what you would have seen in Greek mythology's history. They cut past the Fast and Furious scene, like they had a version of this scene in the last trailer where he makes the Fast and Furious family joke. Just because that's the whole basis for the Shazam movies is that it's about the Shazam family, the Shazamly. Everybody posting your Vin Diesel memes. They use this scene with her just slapping him around just because he was clowning so much, just to let you know that she is a threat. She does have actual power without taking all of the power back. Like just because they want their father's power doesn't mean they don't already have a lot of power. The new version of the Warner Brothers logo for the movie just looks like it's etched in stone just to make it look very ancient. This just seems like one of the books of magic that they're reading that you see Mary Marvel reading from with a bunch of Greek mythology around it, like a bunch of Greek artifacts, as they're trying to figure out what's going on with the sisters. Part of the idea of this movie, because there's so much that they don't know, is that they'll just learn more about their actual powers, like how their actual powers work, where they come from, how they got them in the first place, which gets back to the source, like how the power came from this Greek Titan Atlas. It's one of those situations where people like the wizard Shazam, like the people who originated a lot of the powers, created a lot of the way the powers work, reveals information that he hasn't already. Like, oh, by the way, yeah, when I gave you these powers, I got them from a bunch of these other places, and the places that I got them from are now getting really pissed off about that. It seems like their fight with Calypso's dragon is a huge part of the movie, like one of the huge action sequences, because there's so much of it in all the trailers. He even makes a Game of Thrones Khaleesi reference talking about Calypso.
Hey, Khaleesi!
They are dragons, Khaleesi.
Khaleesi! Khaleesi!
The other interesting thing, too, is that it seems like even though they take Freddie Freeman, and Thea, Rachel Zeigler's character, seems like she has like some weird shit going on with him where she actually goes against her sisters to try and protect him. Like she starts siding with the Shazam family because you see her getting blasted by the same energy that the sisters are giving off. There's a real big Batman and Robin Easter egg on Freddie Freeman's t-shirt. He was also wearing the Superman Henry Cavill t-shirt in the last movie. He's meant to be the big Justice League fanboy. He's the one that also had Batman's Batarang. This t-shirt also has a big Robin reference. Obviously, we know Robin exists because we saw a version of him during Batman v Superman, or his suit, but he was long since dead. Seems kind of like a macabre Easter egg, but the whole idea is that they're actual birds. Like it's a Batman bird, and it's a Robin that's an actual Robin. Ben Affleck's Batman wasn't supposed to be featured in the movie, but they did have a version of him in the last trailer, but the footage was from the Justice League movie. One of the planned cameos for the movie was Wonder Woman. There were a bunch of Wonder Woman cameos in the upcoming films this year that reportedly they actually deleted because of all the recastings. I don't know if they've gotten rid of Wonder Woman in this movie because she sounds like she was a bit of a throwaway joke, the way that they used her in the movie, so they might still let her be in it. I think a lot of the teasers in the post-credit scenes and things that they got rid of in movies like the Flash movie, for instance, the big Superman cameo during that, were mostly because they were meant to set up future movies that they never intend on paying off now because of all the recastings and the rebooting. But you see all the other DCEU footage here they show in the trailer when he's talking to his therapist, his child therapist, because Billy is still technically a child in the eyes of the law. And he's just talking to them about how a couple years on since the events of the first movie, he still feels like kind of a fraud compared to the other Justice League characters. And reportedly, while he's talking to his therapist, he talks about this fantasy that he has about going on a date with Wonder Woman, and they pay that off at some point in a funny way during the movie. You notice he's wearing the Goonies t-shirt as they're activating their powers. Thematically, their group is kind of like the Goonies, Never Say Die. A group of little kids going on an adventure. They just happen to have crazy powers. This scene of Helen Mirren's character talking about the power being ripped from her father seems like she's talking to Djimon Hounsou's wizard Shazam. The joke here with Billy talking about writing things down also seems like they're in some sort of nightclub, like there's people serving drinks behind them, and he's a little kid, he's not supposed to be in there, like you have to be over 21 to be in a bar like that. There'll probably be a couple scenes like that in the movie where he's in very adult situations, but he's still technically a little kid, so he just acts really awkward. Then Billy actually tries to give his powers back to the sisters. One of the differences too, I'm not sure how they're going to explain this during the movie yet, but in the comics, the way that Shazam shares his powers with the rest of the Shazam family is that you have a bunch of different letters for the different acronyms representing the different gods and the different types of abilities that they get from them. Originally, when he shared his powers, he just shared different parts of the acronym. But the way they changed that in the first movie, they made it seem like they each just share a fractional amount of the exact same powers. Like they all have access to all the abilities, they're just operating at a fractional amount of the total amount of power available to them. So when it seems like he's trying to give the powers back to them, it sounds like he's trying to give all of the power back to them, not just the stamina of Atlas. Because of the big DC reboot, obviously a lot of questions about how they're going to end this movie. Like, I'm not expecting them to end the movie with zero power, but there might be a big twist. Usually in a movie like this, they pull a Thor Ragnarok where they recontextualize the way their powers work, or they find a different source for their powers. That's also one of the big things about the Shazam characters. It's the same for Black Adam too. They can get the same power, but from different gods. Like they can make bargains or contracts with different gods so that they have the same abilities. The other thing they might wind up doing, because it seems like Hespera, Rachel Zeigler's character, goes against her sisters, is that by the end of the movie, they'll come to an agreement with them, and they'll start acting more like the patron gods, granting their powers to the Shazam family. Whereas at the beginning of the movie, they're trying to take everything back, but in the original comics, Shazam didn't take all the power from like Zeus and the other Greek gods. They were just granted access to that power by the gods who were still alive at the time. The big change in the DC universe, though, is that all those Greek gods are supposed to have died a long time ago, according to Wonder Woman. But because we have the big James Gunn DC Phase 1 reboot, obviously a lot of that doesn't matter anymore. Speaking of which, Zachary Levi was seen with Peter Safran's family posting about people in this big reboot, and he seems very confident that he's going to be coming back as Shazam. Jason Momoa also just posted something very similar, where he seems very confident that he's coming back, like, no one is coming to take Aquaman from me. I will always be Aquaman.
What was your meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran like?
It's very, very wonderful. I'm in the house of Warner Brothers, and they like a lot of stuff I'm doing, and we got a lot of good things coming. You know, I'll always be Aquaman. The rumors aren't right. I'll always be Aquaman. Ain't anyone coming in there and taking shit. And then there might be some other characters too. So, so we can play. I can play other things too. I can be funny and savage and charming once in a while.
The extra joke about Jason Momoa, though, is that he also said that he would be additional characters on top of that, too. I've already done like a completely separate video, so I'll post a link at the end of this, because it sounds like he's actually going to be playing a version of Lobo, potentially even more characters on top of that, while he also plays Aquaman at the same time in future DC movies. It'll be fascinating to see how they pull that off. And because it's the end of January as of me posting this video, James Gunn said that he would announce the DC Phase 1 slate, or he's calling it DC Chapter 1, like he's calling them chapters. So instead of DC Phase 1, technically it's DC Chapter 1 of movies, but it's the same basic concept of like Marvel Phase 1, Marvel Phase 2, Marvel Phase 3. What'll probably happen, because we're so close to the end of the month, is that he's either waiting till like the beginning of next week, like literally the end of the month, like the last possible minute on January 31st, or it'll be in the next couple of days. We're literally coming down to the wire, so of course I'll post videos for whatever he announces these new DC movies are going to be. We know about the new Superman movie, but there's still a lot of questions about what the other ones are going to be. Because the Super Bowl is coming really soon, the new Flash trailer is going to drop at the Super Bowl. There'll be a whole bunch of other Super Bowl trailers too for Marvel, for other stuff. Of course I'll do videos for all those. Make sure you enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Everyone click here to listen to Jason Momoa talk about continuing to be Aquaman and the other character that he's playing, big teaser. And click here for that brand new Flash trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.